You have no idea how many times I find myself singing it at work. Welcome, everyone, once again to the Straub Bro Sports Show. I am Ken Straub.
I am Andrew Straub.
And welcome aboard. Straub, are we ready to do what we do? Give the people what they're tuning in to see, and that is to talk our talk. Absolutely.
Let's give the people what they want.
But before we get to our news, ladies and gentlemen, and this is so awesome for me to do because I'm not just doing this to sell out in any way, but we have our first sponsor for an episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this week's episode is sponsored by Emo Night Kent, Thanksgiving Eve, November 22nd at the Outpost in Kent, Ohio, 4962 Ohio 43, Kent, Ohio, 44240 is the address. My buddy and a good friend of mine, Trent, he runs this event. He has put these together. I have known Trent for a very, very, very long time, his entire life, actually. Our parents are lifelong friends. So we've been friends for a long time. And in being friends, he run these events, and I told him I wanted to get with them. We used to watch wrestling and go to wrestling events, but now we are, adult friends. And so he's running these events. I'm going to throw it back up. All your favorite emo pop music, DJs taking requests all night, karaoke, Guitar Hero, Mario Kart, cornhole, food and drink specials. It's a really fun time. I have not been able to make it to one yet because I have a 4-year-old who takes up all of my time. That is not this pod, but I'm actually going to try to make an appearance that night after our pod is done. But it's a great event. These are fun. I see pictures from these all the time, and I'm actually jealous because I don't get to go. But I'm not just giving him a shout out tonight. He's doing a very awesome thing at this event. Homeless Hookup Cleveland will be at Emo Night Kent Thanksgiving Eve, taking donations to help the homeless, veterans, LGBTQ plus community, people in recovery, and many others. Please consider donating and helping them reach their goal of 20,000 this November. We will be making a donation ourselves at the end of the night. Those will be the homeless or the Emo Night Kent event. Please go to homelesshookupcle.org to donate online or learn more. So one more time, I'm gonna throw that up. It'll be in the ticker as well. You can go to Facebook as you see on the event. Special performance by I Fight Fail. I love it. Absolutely love giving the shout outs. Straub, our banner is now up. You know where you are. The Straub Bro Sports Show. We ready to get into our news?
Let's roll.
Okay, let's hit some news. First things first. Just broke late this afternoon. Jim Harbaugh, Michigan head coach, has accepted his 3-game suspension from the Big Ten. Will not go to court tomorrow. All of that hooping and hollering and talking, we're just going to accept it and go and sit on the bench. Drew, quick thought on that?
I mean, I wasn't surprised. Your team is good enough to kind of get through this, and you want to focus on the college football playoff. You don't want any distraction just dragging out, so it makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. I agree. It was show, but it's deserved. I mean, you got to go take a hit, man. This is institutional control, or lack of institutional control. You got to go take a hit. I'm glad Michigan's players aren't affected. I'm glad they still get to play. Yes, they won't have their head coach, but put up or shut up time. So our other news of the week, quickly and swiftly after their game, Texas A&M let go of Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher made $46 million at Texas A&M. He will make $75 million to see himself out of the door. 42-25 in 6 seasons. Give me a quick thought about Jimbo Fisher being fired at Texas A&M.
Yeah, I got to start coaching college football. Anyways, like we said on the Sunday podcast, check that out if you haven't looked at that already. There's too much money being put into that program for him to be hovering around 500. Just it needed to be done. It kind of got bad later on, as it went on. But I know there's a lot of talk on like who they're going to get. There's not many options available. Listen, if they have $75 million to pay a coach to not coach, I'm sure they have plenty of money to buy out a coach's contract somewhere where they believe that they're going to get a good coach. So I don't have any issue with that. I'm just curious to see who they're actually targeting.
I mean, that becomes the big question. Like, where do you go from here? Do you want me to tell you a name that got floated by Dan Orlovsky on Get Up that made Paul Feinbaum roll his eyes and fall out of his seat? Urban Meyer.
I wouldn't be surprised if I'm being completely honest.
Why not?
He's a college football coach, and he does it well. So why not?
He's one of the best of all time, and he's one of the most interesting people of all time.
That is the best you'll get from him, by the way.
That is the best you will ever hear me talk about Urban Meyer. I'm just going to let you know this pod is going viral if Urban Meyer comes back into the coaching fold. I mean, just absolutely just nuts. So, yeah, that – whew, come on, please. We've got other firings. Penn State has fired their offensive coordinator, Mike Yurcich. Second big game this year where the offensive completely stalled. That would have been last week against Michigan. I mean, this is all about the quarterback. 21 touchdowns and 1 interception, but only 6.34 yards per attempt, 115 nationally. Penn State 88th nationally in passing offense. That's why you got to go. They finally got you a quarterback at Penn State, and you're doing nothing. You got to go. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, no, you can't have that kind of talent and then disappear against big teams. Like I said, look, it's not on Drew Aller. He's a sophomore, first-year starter, still maturing as a quarterback, but looks good. And also just doesn't have the kind of weapons that these top teams have. So you need a really good coordinator, or at least like a decent one. And if you're not showing and you're getting 25 total points against Ohio State and Michigan, that's not going to cut it. You need to look in a different direction, and we'll see what happens.
Agreed. I'm sorry, you got to be better, Penn State. People have asked if I'm falling asleep. No, I'm checking all the socials. I'm making sure everything is good. I'm not falling asleep on the pod, I promise. So we've got another little bit of news that hasn't completely broken nationally yet, but we're going to talk about it. It has been floated, and not just floated, it has been talked about and put out that UCLA is likely to part ways with Chip Kelly. Timing is apparently depending on the result of the USC game this week, which makes zero sense to me. I'll be 100% honest with you. And if only because if you're done with him, just be done with him. Nothing you parading him out there to get potentially blown up by USC. That does nothing for you. That does nothing. If you're UCLA, where do you go? Do you potentially go to the guy we talked about at the top of the episode, Jimbo Fisher? I mean, it can't be. If you're gonna run Chip Kelly out, you're gonna run out Jimbo.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world. It might not be close to the best, but you never know. But in terms of Chip Kelly, this is a cycle we've seen a bunch of times. Oregon, Philadelphia Eagles, and now here where you start off hot. It's this brand new fun offense that it's different than a lot of the ones we've seen, and then he sticks with it. He doesn't adapt. He doesn't change. He sticks with it. And then they go middling because they can't adapt to, different kind of tactics against different teams. And I don't think a Chip Kelly team will ever get to the top of kind of the college football like they did against Oregon, just because everyone plays it now and you can defend it. It's not like back then where it was this insane new thing where it is what it is. But I think we saw this. There was writing on the wall. Not a lot of people were, fans of him, even the hiring. And now that he's kind of not, they're going to the Big Ten. It's this big move. You kind of want to start fresh. I see it coming.
Yeah, I mean, it is. A lot of people do. A lot of people do like to, take an established coach into the, into the new conference. So that was weird. Here I got to throw this back up. My favorite coach, Urban Meyer. Yep, Pops, I'm talking about my favorite guy. Why don't UCLA go get him? Why not?
Why not? He ain't do himself any favors on Big Noon Kickoff.
No, not at all. Not our last bit of news, but some other bit of news that I'm going to kind of let you go off, and then I'm going to give Mom a shout out. Hi, Mom. We're in the house. Deshaun Watson has been ruled out for the season with a shoulder injury. Who do the Browns call now? The offseason. Shout out to Ray. I told him I was going to make that joke and give him a shout out. Awful news. Browns fan, please pontificate. Give us your thoughts. Big words on the pod.
Why can't we have anything nice ever in our lives? We come in with
I know we don't talk a lot of college or pro football on this pod, so maybe not everyone knows my allegiance is to my Cowboys. We are them boys for one more week. But go ahead. You cannot have nice things. I know.
so we come in, we get, you know, we come in with the season, we're looking pretty decent, looking, great, actually pretty decent offensively. Maybe Watson has a slow start, but that's okay. And then Nick Chubb his knee gets absolutely obliterated, and we go down. And we're like, well, that was our main offense. What are we going to do? Then Jerome Ford, backup running back, starts to carve out a big role, starts playing well. Watson finally starts to play well. We get a big win against our division rival, the Ravens. And now Deshaun Watson's out for the year, and now we can't do anything nice.
Yes, I am still America's team.
Debatable, but that's fine.
I know
that's another discussion.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. It really is. Go ahead.
And now we're going to a rookie quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who's getting a second start against a top 3 defense without his starting running back or 40% of his starting offensive line. And so, it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be miserable to watch. There's going to be a massive decline in talent on the field in terms of quarterback position. And I'm going to be upset the entire Sunday. And it is what it is.
This just turned into like ESPN Cleveland radio, like real quick. Bring it down. I understand. No, I get you. I listen. Although he has not, I know he hasn't looked great either way, but it is still good to have a guy in there. But your defense is outstanding. Okay, your defense.
Yeah.
I think your defense is going to get you here. You heard it here first on the Straub Sports Show. I still think the Browns make the playoffs. I think the defense gets you in. There you go. Boom. I also think you should call Colt McCoy. Why not? Moving on. Drew, I know you got a little bit of soccer news to rip off for us real quick before we then get into what we are here to do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we do have another injury. Midfielder Johnny Cardoso, starter for Internacional in Brazil, in his most recent game, suffered a right ankle injury and will miss both games for the U.S. We'll get into more of that later. No replacement was named. However, we do have a lot of midfielders, including a lot of attacking midfielders. So see for those to get the start and those to get some bigger minutes now that Cardoso is gone. But obviously, it still sucks.
Can I say it? Busio! Call up Gianluca Busio, please. Please. Okay. All right, Drew. We have a new number 1 team in the country.
Deserved.
And, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like what we said the number 1 team in the country should be. Shout out to the committee who believes in us. I still don't understand what this guy's doing with his top 4, but it's okay. It's not that bad. I actually don't disagree with you having Washington in. I think it's a coin flip. But Georgia replaces Ohio State as the number 1 team in the country. Drew, do you think it's deserved? And do you think it would be different if Ohio State had a better schedule in terms of who they've beaten already?
I 100% think it's deserved. I think you look at the teams they're beating, which aren't bad teams at all. Missouri, Ole Miss, and they're just obliterating them. Like Ohio State, obviously playing very good teams as well, but they're pretty close games. They're not like, they're not 20-point wins. They're like within 15-10. Georgia's obliterating teams.
Everyone.
And so I can't really, fault them for that. I think Ohio State is just, unfortunately, it's kind of the factor of what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
I think Ohio State deservedly was number 1. And I think, they're playing not as many bigger teams and Georgia's on the rise and they're looking great. So that's kind of why I think I see Ohio State as 2. But I think, honestly, it's just talent-wise. Also, just a quick correction. I thought about it after you made this, and I apologize. I have Florida State in my 4.
Come on back home. I appreciate it.
Over Washington. I thought about it. I changed my mind.
Come on back home. And I like that. And for right now, I think the reason I have chalk, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, I had what the AP poll had. Okay? Mm-hmm. Before the committee, this is what everybody, coaches poll, AP poll, this is what everybody thought. And I agreed with that. The committee said no. Well, now all of a sudden, the committee's basically put them back in that order. Yeah. Now, for me, What did I say the reason for Georgia and Michigan being 1 and 2 were for me? At the beginning of the year, that's what everyone established in the media and the coaches, rankings, bringing guys back, all of that. They put those teams up and they said, this is who I think are the best teams. If we're going to dog TCU for getting thumped out after being put in, I'm going to give credit to Michigan and Georgia for continuing to run the table when they've been put at the top. Georgia is getting better as it goes on, and that is scary for everyone right now. Absolutely, everyone else should be bleeping terrified. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. And in terms of Michigan, listen, I said if they won and they kept winning, they would rise to the ranks, and they did. They were at 4 or 5 of my weeks last week, and they're at 3 now. So I'm giving them their credit. And listen,
from me.
Yeah, as I say, they're giving them credit, and they have a big game, not this week, but next week. And I'm saying whoever wins that, I think really deserves to have it's 100% number 2, possibly a number 1.
Now, the argument, and as you see it here, now you took away, though, for the most part, if this wins out, we go chalk. You took away the Big Ten's possibility to get 2 teams in. Because now, for me, if Ohio State loses, now that they're at 2, and Washington continues to win, I could see Ohio State getting put out.
Yeah, I do too. Because I don't think we've had this close of a race in a while in terms of things. Because I don't think I remember having 5 undefeated teams in the college football playoff.
And I honestly think the reason Ohio State would get put out is not because I don't think Ohio State with 1 loss would still be deserving, but Washington with no losses is more deserving if they continue to keep that undefeated record, especially with what they have ahead of them. So there is your touch on that part of the top 6. Now, hey, there's other people. Other people play too. There is the rest of your top 25. And I got to get the banner out of the way to make sure you can still see who was there. Texas, Alabama, Missouri moves up to number 9, which absolutely deserving. Missouri is a good team. Louisville, 10. Look at you. Oregon State, Penn State, Ole Miss, 14. Oklahoma, 15. LSU move up. Iowa move up to 16. Yeah, we'll talk about them later. Arizona, Tennessee, my Irish move up to 19. North Carolina make their another high up appearance in the top 20. Kansas State down to 21. Utah, 22. Oklahoma State, Tulane, and Kansas round out your top 25. 7, 8, 9. More so 7 and 8. 7 and 8, just still looking like somebody's going to do it for us.
Honestly, more 8, if I'm being completely honest.
Dude, what else can you say other than Roll Tide? I apologize.
Yeah, that's scary.
Drew? Time to take a ride.
Let's ride.
All right. Let's ride, baby. We've got a long ride ahead, and the playlist is set. Our first game on the board. Washington, 35. Utah, 28. Washington goes to 10 wins for only the second time in school history. A great back and forth game. Utah took a lead 3 different times, 14-10, 21-17, and 28-24. And each drive after, Michael Penix Jr. in Washington scored and retook the lead or cut it close. We got to give some dap. Michael Penix Jr., 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dylan Johnson. I continue to give love to this running game of the Huskies. 23 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown. He was my key last week, and he came through. Adunze, 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Utah absolutely held its own. Okay, got to give some love. Bryson Barnes, 267, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Strabo, talk to me.
Yeah, this one really should have been 40-28. But Alfonso Tupatala, do we need to have this talk again? I felt like we had this talk, not him specifically, but to college athletes like 2-3 years ago when there was an epidemic of dropping the ball before the goal line when you ran in. Alfonso Tupatala, if you didn't see, intercepted the ball, was running it back, clear pick 6, no one near him, and didn't drop it on the 1-yard line. Didn't drop it on the half-yard line. Dropped it on the 3.
On the 3. Do I age myself if I call it the Deshaun Jackson? Is that too?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's
the Deshaun Jackson for me, if I could say his name correctly.
Right. Utah recovers. It's still 28-33 at that point, so still in the balance. Luckily, they got a safety the next play, and Washington defense closed it out later in the game. But yeah, that was really close. In terms of Washington's defense, they didn't look good in the first half, but they look completely different in the second half. Completely shut out Utah, had some massive plays at the end of the game to really seal the victory. And Michael Penix Jr., maybe not his most incredible game, really stepped it up in the second half, but did what he needed to do, and that defense came up. It was really a story of two halves. And sometimes those gritty wins do better for your confidence than like a blowout does.
And look how Washington has responded. Like there was some real shaky games. The game with Arizona State that they should have lost when Arizona State didn't give up a touchdown from them. Like there's been some shakiness, and now Washington's kind of starting to go. Utah can play, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Like this is a scary team come next year with all these guys potentially coming back healthy, and this is why we continue to rank Utah. But yeah, absolutely great game. I think Washington is tested. I think now you're going to be scary because once you get into these, I want to remind everyone, all of these playoff games have been high scoring games. Okay. You really want to get into a shootout with Washington or Oregon? No, you don't. Okay. You absolutely do not. Let's keep going. Oregon, our other game of the week from the Pac-12 or the Pac-2, Oregon 36, USC 27. The Ducks keep on rolling. Quack, quack, quack. Oh, that was awful. 4 Bo Nix touchdowns. That was awful. That's a head slap early on. 4 Bo Nix touchdowns. USC tried to make this a game. 13 fourth quarter points. I mean, but it always felt like USC was kind of just chasing this game. USC has been playing sparring partner for these top Pac-12 teams, and it's been absolutely amazing to watch and amazing to bet the overs. I also want to point out, before I want to throw it over to you, I love the Oregon uniform. I love that bright neon green with the black pants. That was absolutely beautiful. I love that too. Talk to me about this game.
Yes. The scoreline, I think, was pretty deceiving. It was 36-14 early in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah, it looked like Oregon kind of went into cruise mode and kind of let USC get within 9, but they never really looked like they were going to take over and come back fully. USC defense continues to be terrible, cost them games. Oregon continues to look impressive and as good as the undefeateds, and this was pretty chalk, if I'm being completely honest. Like, Oregon seemed pretty controlled the entire game. It looks like we have something.
Yeah, Mom has a question for Mom. Put your question in, and we will absolutely answer it. We love it. We love it when you're interacting with us. Oh yeah, you dang right. It's your favorite pod, girl. You're absolutely in for the sports show, even though you might like one of the Straub brothers more than the other. It's not fair. Yeah, pop the question in. Yeah, but no, absolutely. Go ahead, bro. Continue.
No, yeah. Listen, Bo Nix is continuing his absolute domination. Heisman candidate season. That defense holding USC to 27 is exactly. See, I told you. Holding USC to 27 points is no small task, especially when you hold them to 14 through 3 quarters. Absolutely crazy. And like I said, Oregon, if they played Washington or any top team now, I could have my money on Oregon and not feel any type of doubt.
Nobody wants to work with those two teams or those two offenses right now. You do not want to be trying to prep for those guys. Bo Nix, Heisman race, collision course. Absolutely. Like 412 yards, 4 touchdowns, 96 QBR. Sorry if I repeated those stats. Sorry, I was reading Mom's question. Mom wants to know about Draymond Green. We will absolutely hit that. We will touch on that at some point in the middle of that, Mom. I promise we will come back. Bo Nix, like I said, absolutely on fire. Bucky Irving, 119, 1 touchdown. Trey Franklin, 147 yards. Tez Johnson, 126 yards. Like, oh my goodness. I don't want no smoke with this Oregon offense. Hey, Caleb. Thanks, man. 291 and a tutty. I mean, that's Oregon's got Arizona State and Oregon State left. Okay. This is not it's not over yet. Our Big Ten game of the week. Here it is. Everybody wanted to know. Michigan, are you for real? Michigan 24, Penn State 15. Do not let that score read into anything. A game that reads close, like I said, but was not close. Penn State defense held Michigan to 24 points. 60 yards passing, 0 in the second half. Because Michigan said, F it, and I'm going to run it down your throat. And they did consistently for over 227 yards on the ground. When you run for 227, you don't have to throw. Okay. Blake Corum, who warmed up with his Michigan versus everybody hat, 26 carries, 145 yards, 2 tutties. Talk to me.
Yeah, both teams really couldn't throw the ball. 60 yards for Michigan, 74 for Penn State. Michigan because they didn't have to, but Penn State because they were trailing the entire game and just couldn't get anything going. Michigan got plays at the exact right time. Drew Allard really showed how he's a first starting quarterback this season. Really looked struggling, and he still needs to develop before this Penn State offense and their college football playoff hopes are taken seriously. Once he kind of gets going, then it'll kind of be serious. But until then, no. Michigan's winning on spite alone, and I love it. Scandal or not, I love to watch the players kind of rally around. Go on.
Full disclosure for everyone on the pod. I grew up a Notre Dame fan. Okay, I've always had some love for the Buckeyes as a kid, but I'm a Notre Dame guy through and through. This kid with me here used to be a Buckeye fan. When he signed on and went to a D1 school, I let him know, man, you go to a D1 school, you got to hang up your D1 colors, you got to take your own schools on. And he did that proudly. So he is a UC guy through and through. Now, we grew up hating Michigan. Okay, there's no Michigan love in our hearts. But facts are facts. Good stories are good stories. And I'm with you. I am absolutely pro Michigan versus everybody. That's how it's done, Ryan Day. When you actually have a reason to go somebody versus, you versus everybody, it works a little bit better. But I'm sorry, I cut you off. Continue.
No, you're good. I just the only thing I had to say is I just like seeing these kids kind of just get behind each other and really just refuse to let any of this get into the locker room or get around them. It's a good thing to see, because that's when you don't have paychecks like NFL players do. You need something to play for, and they are making this the all motivation, and that's perfect for them. And it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's Michigan versus everybody, and they shut everybody up for a week. Maryland is next. I know you would say that a trap game, but at this point, there are no trap games in the locker room. Okay,
it's a trap game for you.
For who?
For you, because you're a Maryland lover. Yeah, get out of here. No one else thinks that.
Spoiler alert, there will be no Maryland this week. I promise you that, okay? As much as I like to bet Maryland, I like betting Michigan more. No, so we have to talk about the biggest story of the Michigan game, okay? We don't like to get on and make fun of players too much, but I'll rip the hell out of some coaches, okay? Sharon Moore, the OC and interim head coach at Michigan, led the Michigan Wolverines to their best win of the year, and may have given the worst post-game interview in the history of Earth, okay? All right. If the aliens were riding past us as that post-game interview was going on, they would have been like, no, we are definitely not stopping here. I don't care what they saw on some cameras, okay? Crying, blubbering. We did this for you, Jim. We love you, Jim. And literally, like we just said, we are pro the Michigan story, and we think it's great, and, like, it's all good. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to get on you when you're making an absolute fool of yourself. And when you're crying about how you guys did it for Jim and it was for you and blah, 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 like, I thought it was a Jim Harbaugh memorial when he was literally 15 minutes away in the bleeping hotel, but we were memorializing him like we did it. We won one for the Gipper. I know I just aged myself, but like, geez, come on, man. Like, we brought our own guts for Jim, and he wasn't even 10 minutes down the road.
Let the man get emotional, all right?
Oh my goodness! Like, all right, keep it moving. Florida State 27, Miami 20. Wow. Seminoles keep playing these close games, but just like Washington, we keep talking. They keep winning them, so that's all that matters. Like you said, a close game, and the Hurricanes defense hung in there, like we said they would. The offense outgained Florida State, 335 to 322. Like, I mean, but Mike Norvell and these Seminoles, they keep finding ways to win these games. That's 16 straight for the Seminoles. They're on track for the CFP for me. As long as they keep winning, and they are good. Jordan Travis, 265 and a touchdown. Trey Benson, 80 and a touchdown, or 2 touchdowns. Miami wide receiver Jacoby George, 5 receptions, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. I want to say that again. He had 153 yards receiving on 5 receptions. That is insane. Sorry, I just yelled and echoed. That's insane. But got to give some love there. You?
Yeah. Miami, and probably what was their last chance to play spoiler of the season, really gave it all they had, but they just couldn't make the plays they needed down the end. Maybe a different story if Emory Williams doesn't get hurt on the last drive. If you didn't see, they went for it, reached for the pylon, and just shoulder looked like it separated, didn't look good. They had to put a backup in, and you know how that goes. Couldn't really get anything going. But hey, Florida State, we knew it was going to be tough no matter how bad a rival opponent is. They're going to give you their best, especially if, the coach gets them up, which they obviously did. And Florida State hung on, which is what they need to do.
Absolutely. It's just keep winning. Keep winning. And Dad, getting love from the VF. Hey, Dad's got us on everywhere he goes, so we appreciate it.
Let's go.
Absolutely there. You always know moms and pops is in the chat. So yeah, and moms, like I said, we did not forget about that question. We will touch on the Draymond Green situation later. Yeah, Florida State, keep on winning, keep on rolling. Our next game, Texas. Texas 29, TCU 26. The Longhorns once again collapse late, but get lucky. Absolutely. Quinn Ewers return. I always mess his. I always do this wrong.
Ewers.
Learning how to pronounce on the Straub Sports Show. Getting your fundies down. Quinn Ewers returned and went for 317 and a touchdown. Jonathan Brooks, 104 2 touchdowns, but got hurt late. Wasn't just hurt late. Torn ACL. All our love out to you, kid. Get healthy. We want bags. Go get bags, okay? So get healthy, kid, and make sure you're ready to go for Sundays. I'm not sure if he's a junior. I don't even know if he's a freshman. He might be, but either way, get yourself healed up and ready to go. Xavier Worthy, 10 catches for 137 yards. We got to talk about it, dude. TCU, 20 fourth quarter points, and with 2:06 left, had Texas facing 3rd and 12 from its own 13. Ewers hit Mitchell for 35, iced the game. Talk to me before I go on a mini Texas rant because we got to get rolling. We're getting long already.
Yeah, I can't blame Texas. You lose your top running back like that, and you have to lean on a quarterback that just came back from injury. It's gonna stifle a little bit. It's gonna sputter. Just based on Texas, though, this team is good when everyone's healthy. This team is good.
Yes.
But they're not deep enough to contend with any of the top 6 because one guy goes down and everything falls apart.
Thank you. This is my rant. I'm tired of you, Texas. Just lose and be done because this can't work against anybody good. And if you rematched with Alabama right now, I would put my money on the Tide plus 14 because they would roll you out of the doors. I don't care if it was in Texas, okay? I don't care if you played at the Alamo, okay? You're not winning, okay? Like, it's not happening. I'm sorry. So, no, Texas, get out of here because as much as I think you could be a good team, come back next year when you're fully healthy because I want to see Alabama in there. That's my Texas rant. Last week, I called this an all-you game, and it turned into the game of the week. North Carolina and Duke, not in the early college basketball season, on the football field. North Carolina 47, Duke 45. Nobody saw this one coming. It was 19-14 going into the fourth quarter. 39 fourth quarter points. And we will take a look at this one. It was a close game. It was a really good game, an epic one almost. UNC took the lead with just under 2 minutes before Duke scored and took the lead back before North Carolina then drove back down, kicked a game-tying field goal to send it to overtime, where both teams would exchange field goals in the first overtime. The second overtime would see Drake May run it in to complete the 2-point conversion. Loftus completed the touchdown, couldn't get the 2-point conversion for Duke. UNC gets the win. Talk to me, Straub.
Yeah, hey, props to Duke. North Carolina tried to pull away multiple times. They were up 13, 14 at one point, and Duke just wouldn't let them pull away. They kept staying in there, getting within a touchdown, and then finally took the lead. It was getting crazy. Just couldn't.
Nope. Straub's having a little bit of internet connection, but freshman Grayson Loftus made another start and played well for Duke. 189 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jordan Waters, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. So that absolutely was a big game changer. Strabo, are you back in and good?
I should be good. Are we good?
Yeah, here you go. Go ahead. We lost you for a minute there. Go ahead.
Oh man. Okay. No, listen, it was a scoring fest, surprisingly, due to North Carolina just having a worse defense than the Duke's offense. And hopefully this is a sign of maybe this rivalry in college football being just as good as the basketball one.
Hopefully. Absolutely. Defense as bad as your connection. Let's keep it going. We got to hit the highway and cruise, bro. All right, we're getting along here. Let's get some other scores. Louisville 31, Virginia 24. 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns helped the Cardinals avoid an upset. We were texting back and forth about this on the other night and set up a potential matchup with Florida State. Obviously, the kind of bigger news, the game was shut down and kind of lost its importance. Virginia running back Harris Jones took a helmet hit and was kind of down and carted off. Virginia spokesman Jim Javis said at the time Jones had regained movement in all his extremities, so that was good. But once again, get well. Bigger things in football. Jack Plummer, 243, 2 touchdowns and an interceptions. Jawar Jordan, 17 carries, only 95 yards. We got to give some love. Virginia quarterback Anthony Calandria, 314 and a touchdown. Malik Washington, 115 yards receiving. Let's keep it rolling. Texas Tech, Kansas. Texas Tech 16, Kansas 13. Ooh, wait. Jason Bean goes down, and the rest of his team kind of followed as a 30-yard Gino Garcia game-winning field goal downs the Jayhawks. 3 completions. Then it was boom, 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 and a big one for 33. Put the Raiders in for position. Real quick, give me one on that.
Yeah, being down to your third-string quarterback is never – it's so hard to win with that. And Patrick Mahomes is in the house apparently for Texas Tech. That's on you too because you're always going to get up for something like that. Great game plan by.
It wasn't Taylor Swift. It was Mahomes.
Crazy. It was Mahomes. Great game plan by Texas Tech though. And Kansas looking now to just kind of stay healthy the rest of the year and try to keep everyone together.
Yeah, I agree. Let's keep going. Alabama 49, Kentucky 21. Roll Tide, baby. I said Jalen Milroe would go for 3 touchdowns. He raised me 3 and went for 6. Shout out to you, kid. If there was 4 more games left in the season, we are talking Heisman for Jalen Monroe. Where he would be in there. Go ahead, bro. Talk to me about the next one.
The next one? Ooh, I like the next one. It gets back. It's back home. Number 23, Tulane, 24-22 over Tulsa. Tulsa actually outgained Tulane in this one, 477 to 357, but Tulane hold on again. Maybe not a great team in terms of dominating opponents that maybe are not as great caliber, but hey, getting results is all that matters. Tulsa quarterback Kirk Francis, 345 yards and a touchdown. Try to keep them in the game, just couldn't do it. On the other side, Tulane quarterback Michael Pratt did enough, 194 yards, a touchdown, and an interception, but running back Maki Hughes carried that offense. 19 carries, 121 yards, and a touchdown.
Love it. Throw it back to me. I'm taking the next one. I got nothing for that one. You killed it. Arizona 34, Colorado 31. We were so close. Absolutely. What Mel said. Like and subscribe to catch all the Straub Bros Sports Talk. Arizona scored 10 in the fourth, including a game-winning field goal to complete the comeback. Shedeur, 262, 2 touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdowns. Yes, I'm talking about this in a depressing tone because it's depressing. All right? I bet on this. I love this. I had Colorado. It's not a gimmick. I believe in this team. Oh, we were close. Go ahead. Take over. I'm hurt. Go to the next.
I got you. We'll move over to the conference where both those teams will be in next year, the Big 12. Number 25, Kansas State, 59-25 over Baylor. Listen, Kansas State has been up and down all year, but they've been way up for this game. Their defense was insane, forcing 4 turnovers, 3 forced fumbles, and an interception. Gave up only 85 rushing yards. Will Howard continues a great campaign, 235 yards and 3 touchdowns. And running back DJ Giddens helped out as well, 18 carries and 115 yards. Baylor QB wasn't too bad either. Blake Shapen did his best, 253 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. But that Kansas State defense was too much. What do you think?
Will Howard, all-time passing leader in Kansas State history.
Wow, good for him.
All-time touchdown passing leader in Kansas State history. That's what I got to throw in there. Shout out to that. All right, I'm taking the keys back. Missouri 36, Tennessee 7. Yes, my Missouri. Stop disrespecting Missouri Tigers. Okay, stop it. Okay, the committee's not, so everyone else stop it. Brady Cook, 275. Cody Schrader, 205 on the ground, 1 touchdown. I mean, not a lot to say there. They dominated Tennessee. Tennessee continues to lose big games. Go ahead and go throw it back over to you because this one hurts and I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about it either. But number 15, Oklahoma State traveled to UCF and got whooped 45-3.
Whooped.
Yeah, I hate to do it, but major props to UCF, absolutely crushing a strong Oklahoma State team, outgaining them 592-277. They did what no team could do, and that's stop the run. And Oklahoma State was absolutely helpless after they threw 3 interceptions. Ollie Gordon, listen, you had a great season, but you can't rush for 25 yards and be a Heisman candidate. I'm sorry.
Don't talk about my guy like that. Yeah, Ollie, 12 carries, 25 yards, absolutely got shut down. UCF, you can have the U. I said you were going to lose it this week, and you can have it back. Hey, Coach Gundy, there are other big games too. It's not just Oklahoma. You could have really been in somewhere, but yeah, thanks for coming. Talk about the next one because I blew that one too.
Yeah, no, I did too. Number 22, Iowa.
There's no clips when you blow it too, huh?
I should, but yours was too good in the last one. Number 22, Iowa, putting up 22 and shutting out Rutgers in a 22-0 win. Hey, listen, at least the under that I called hit, so that's what matters.
Hey, listen, and we're gonna roll past this. The shutout and the under and ruin my upset special. The Iowa trifecta. Okay, that's what that is.
Yeah, Rutgers didn't get anything going offensively. 127 yards total. And you know what? Iowa didn't do bad offensively for how bad we talk about them. 402 total yards. Deacon Hill, the quarterback, 223 and a touchdown. And I'm going to say this. If that offense continues with that stellar defense, maybe not a big, juicy upset, but it's a little tickling because they're the only good team in that side of the Big Ten that can maybe do something to challenge those top 2 teams.
Spoiler alert, there's some Iowa talk coming later, and it involves betting numbers. I can't believe I'm talking like this. All right, let's keep moving. Oregon State, Stanford. Oregon 62, Stanford 17. My Beavers are handing out
That's
Beavers,
fair.
baby. Absolutely. Put up now. It's Rutgers, man. We know, but still. My Beavers putting up beatings. All right, no water getting through this dam of a defense. I was getting that out no matter what, okay? I didn't care what interrupted me. All right, I'm getting my cornball stuff out. Damian Martinez, 146 on the ground and 4 tutties. DJU, 240 and 2 tutties. All right, Beavers getting it done. I give you like 5 seconds and I'm going.
Yeah, no, listen, 600 yards of offense. They did what they should have done.
Absolutely. Speaking of doing what they should have done, in a game that was supposed to be close, Georgia 52, Ole Miss 17. This game was 14-14 and 21-14 Georgia at some point in the second quarter. And then it was over. 2 Kendall Milton touchdown runs and a returning Brock Bowers caught one, as well as Ladd McConkey. Carson Beck, 306, 2 touchdowns. Milton, 127, 2 touchdowns on 9 carries. He averaged 14 yards a carry. Ladies and gentlemen, he got the ball in his hands. He ran for 14 yards. That's what happened every time he touched the ball. That is ridiculous. I'm going to throw it back to you because I don't want to, because all of these hurt. I'm throwing it back to you. Go ahead.
No, yeah. All right. Number 17, Oklahoma, 59-20 over West Virginia. Oklahoma just played angry. They looked pissed off. 644 total yards of offense. And that explosiveness that we've been waiting for that's been gone the past 2 games finally came back. Dylan Gabriel, absolute dog. 423 passing yards, 50 rushing yards, 8 total touchdowns. And that defense was killer too. We were waiting for that defense to come back. Held West Virginia to 154 passing yards.
Come on. I mean, still some love for West Virginia. We love. This is a pro West Virginia pod.
Yeah.
Okay, we're pro Army. We're pro West Virginia. I'm sorry, I'm having some camera adjustment issues. Drake Stoops, 164 and 3 of those touchdowns. But yeah, Dylan Gabriel, have a day, my guy. Man, LSU 52, Florida 35. Jaden Daniels had some Gator for breakfast. He had some Gator for lunch. He had some Gator for dinner. He had some Gator boots. He had a Gator hat. He had a Gator phone case. I'm getting my corny jokes in this week, okay? I know it's West Virginia, man. Mel, come on.
Hey, take me home, country roads, baby.
Absolutely, take me home, country roads. Jaden Daniels, the first player in FBS history to throw for 350 plus and run for 200 plus. In history. In history. When they used to give Notre Dame players the Heisman because there was like 6 teams that played in the country. I'm talking in the Herschel Walker, Reggie Bush, okay? Archie Griffin, whoever you want to bring up, because I know Dad will put it in the chat if I don't say it. Nobody has ever done this before. Talk to me about the game, but talk to me about that.
Yeah, listen, Florida kept it close, I will say. But no, Jaden Daniels absolutely unstoppable. Because no doubt needs to be in the Heisman ceremony, in the contention to win the thing, honestly. Just he is absolutely ridiculous. There was 1,189 total yards in this game. And LSU had 701 of them. Insane. LSU's maybe not a top team. They're maybe not like the best team, maybe that top 10. But if you want to watch some fireworks every week, watch an LSU game. It's insane.
And don't you dare touch that. Don't you touch that. That's mine. And you know it. That's all mine. Because he was having a hard time keeping those alligators down. Woo! Like, we want to go get some Ric Flair in there. Shout out to Mel. Okay. I'm going to get my Dusty impression go because, baby, you don't know about these hard times. Baby, let me tell you about hard times. Okay. Oh, we are getting out of place now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having fun. Welcome in. Get in the chat because we're having some fun. Our last game of the review, and then I'm going to answer Mom's question. Ohio State 38, Michigan State 3. Cal McCord 335. What up, kid? Welcome. Marvin Harrison Jr. tied, then passed Chris Carter for fourth on the all-time touchdown list for Ohio State history. That is insane. Wide receiver history or all-time history? I apologize, but that is insane. Okay, I don't even feel like he's been there that long. But you just throw it to him, you're gonna see it. Listen, I don't care what anybody says or how much I talk smack about Ryan Day. Nobody is giving more Marvin Harrison Jr. love to this than this guy right here in this pod right here, because that kid is beyond legit. The kid is beyond amazing. He's the best player on the field. That's why you do not want to see Ohio State in the college football playoff. Y'all better hope Michigan trips them up, because you let that kid get in there and he stays healthy. I don't think they have the issues they have last year. Beat down. Like I said, there's no trap games. Look, there's no trap games for Michigan because they're just ready to beat them. They're just, every game was a trap game, and there's just prep games right now for Ohio State. Talk to me real quick.
Yeah, I think the only thing I have to say, and I'll throw it out there. You don't got to answer. Is this the game that gets the OSU offense in rhythm for the rest of the season?
I mean, I'm going to answer it.
530 total yards. Yeah. That's scary. And that's scary because that defense is good.
Yeah, that defense is good. That defense is legit. That defense is all of the cliches that you can absolutely throw in there. All right, real quick, and I want to go back because it was a great question. Mm-hmm. Real quick, Mom wants to know what our thoughts are on Draymond Green and the bad attitude. I mean, this is Draymond. I saw the fight. Did you see? For everyone who doesn't know, Warriors and Timberwolves got into a little a fracas. There was a bit of a ruckus going on. Klay Thompson and somebody were pushing and shoving. They threw Klay Thompson over. Draymond Green come up behind, put somebody in a headlock. How nobody else put Draymond in a headlock is beyond me. Listen, I've been into a couple fights on the soccer field. You put your hands on somebody on my team's throat and they're coming after you. Like we're going down. Okay. So, you know. Oh, by the way, Mel said yes. This is the time that the offense gets rolling. But I think Draymond's suspension of a couple games was warranted. I really don't have as big of a problem with it. I'm going to defend my teammate the same way Draymond did. I expect my other teammates to then defend me from Draymond. So I really don't have as big of a problem with it. What Mom say? Should it be 5 games or a year? Nah, we don't hand out suspensions like that no more. They used to throw hands back in the day, Mama. We ain't giving out more than 5. Players Union's too strong to let that slide. But that's a great question. I love that Mom bringing it in. Ladies and gentlemen, throw us questions in the chat. We'll hit them. It don't matter the sport. We're here for it. All right, bro, you ready?
Let's do it.
For headshots. All right, who's going first? Me or you? We haven't actually.
You know what? I'll go first. Just get them out of the way. It'll probably be very similar, at least the first one. Rutgers, I picked you. I was ready for you, and you made me look like a dang fool. You got shut out. I was believing the hype that you were, doing well, and you did that. The only other one I got is Duke because I didn't think they had a chance, and they actually made it a close game. So that was a close one. But yeah, Rutgers, you let me down big time, man.
That Michigan's Penn State over. I read that wrong and I knew better. Absolutely, that's my fault. Michigan's coach for crying is a head slap. I don't care if it's not mine or yours. It's just a head slap in general. I don't care. I don't care. Rutgers football. Iowa took us out. I mean, come on. So Iowa gives me a head slap. I'm a man. I'm 40. Is probably the best thing that's ever happened to Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy. So Oklahoma State, you get me a head slap. Thanks a lot. I'm gonna pump my chest this week. So you go ahead and go first because mine are all gambling.
Now listen, I'm gonna pump my chest this week. It's a little shorter, but I'm gonna pump my chest. Last week, I said the top 8 would all win. They all won. They're keeping that race tight. They're making it fun to watch every week. Love it. Also, Missouri, nobody believed in you, but we did.
The Straub Bro Sports Show believes in you, Missouri.
We believe in you, Missouri. Oklahoma also for killing it. I love it. I picked Oklahoma to kill it, and they did exactly that. But Missouri, you right here. You right close to the heart with me.
I absolutely love it. You got more? Are you good? Are you good?
That's good. The top 8 was like
Bearcats, Tigers. You're all in on cats. I'm with you. We're gonna pump some chests. Utah, Washington over. Check. Arizona, Colorado over. Check. Bama, Kentucky over. Check. Oklahoma winning over. Check. Virginia keeping it close. Check. Tulane doesn't cover. Check. LSU to cover. Check. UCF, because we put it up on the graphic. Texas Tech. Your Cincinnati Bearcats and my Hawaii Warriors upsets. UC and Hawaii brought me in. I appreciate you. I was cashing out. All right, we were having a good old time on Bet365 the other night. 100%. So those are the chest pumps of the week. Real quick, before we jump into our Heisman, I want to remind you it's at the bottom of the scroll. This week's episode brought to you by Emo Night Kent, Thanksgiving Eve, November 22nd, with special performance by I Fight Fail. Check it out. It's in our link on the Facebook app, it's in the Facebook link that we have for the show. Strabo, you ready to talk a little bit of Heisman?
I'd love to.
Let's talk a little bit of Heisman. We're going to take a little peek in the window. All right, we're going to see who's getting closer to Heisman row, and we're going to talk about the favorites. So, as you're going to see on our list, we got some cross-offs this week. J.J. McCarthy, I mean, when you take an entire second half and you don't throw a pass, I understand Michigan's rolling. They've got bigger goals, but it absolutely took you right out of any bit of Heisman. Ali Gordon Jr. or Ali Gordon II. I love you, man. I wanted you in there. I still think you deserve to be there, but you can't rush for 25 yards in a big game at the end of the year and expect to be in the Heisman race. Shedeur, putting up numbers, man. Just straight numbers-wise, you can't tell me that Shedeur doesn't deserve to be in the room, but just Colorado isn't winning games. It's just, you're not going to happen. And Caleb Williams, we love you. Thanks for having one. You will not be getting two. But as you see, Michael Penix Jr., Marvin Harrison, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Jordan Travis, Carson Beck. I think Jordan Travis and Carson Beck are not in the room. I think it's those 4 right there that are your guys to go to. And your current leader in the Vegas clubhouse, Bo Nix. Talk to me about it.
Wow, that is a surprise to me because honestly, so last week I had it as Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, and then Jaden Daniels is my 1, 2, and 3. This week, one stays the same. I like Michael Penix Jr. Maybe had an off week, but I still like him. I have Jaden Daniels as my number 2, just due to the fact that this kid can ball. He's got more passing yards than Bo Nix. He's got a better touchdown to interception ratio than Bo Nix. He's obviously got way more rushing yards because he's an insane dual threat quarterback. He's number 1 in total QPR. And if you're saying, oh, he hasn't played, maybe that good of opponents, his team is number 4 in strength of schedule. So he's playing good teams and he is balling out in them.
Playing good teams. They are winning games, and I mean the numbers are there on the screen for you to see, ladies and gentlemen. He's running everybody up in yards. He's running everybody up in touchdowns. I mean, and he's running it up in QBR, and he's doing it under Brian Kelly, which is even tougher as it is. Okay, I agree with Bo is still not the best player on the field, even though he's a leader in Vegas. So I get where Mel is talking about there. Marvin Harrison Jr. so sneaky. So sneaky because they will give it to a wide receiver. They have before. They have a couple years back. Carson Beck underrated. Carson Beck underrated here, but I mean that's just not what Georgia's doing. That's just not. I'm sorry, that's just not even in Georgia's brain right now to even be anywhere near that. So that's what we got right there. I mean, it's pretty much it for your Heisman. I think we're going to see some separation here in the next 2 weeks. If everybody just kind of continues to do what they do every week, we're going to see some chalk. But we've got some big games here in 2 weeks that will really, really decide. This week is definitely going to be a stat padding week. Okay, this is Kevin Love for the Timberwolves putting up double doubles when they're getting blown out by 40. Yeah, go ahead.
There's just where we'll talk about it, but there is one game that I'm looking at, and we'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, everybody just hold on. All right, let's preview. Let's back out this driveway to Heisman House, and we're gonna head out and preview some games. First game in our best-ish game. I mean, I want to call it. I want to check that just before we do move on. Yeah, I'm gonna give you. At a high level in the hardest position because hey, all those other guys get to make the plays. He is hoping someone can get him the ball for him to then make a play. So I agree with you on Marvin. But let's take a tour around the country. Georgia, 10.5-point favorite at Tennessee. This is a top game because Tennessee isn't terrible. They're not going to win. I'm going to get it out of the way now, but they're not terrible. Carson Beck is on fire. This Georgia offense is rolling. They're averaging 41 a game. The defense is only giving up 16. Yeah, you could argue that this is the most complete team in the country, and Kirby Smart has these boys hot at the exact right time. They're playing their best football of the season, kind of like Kirby Smart's won 2 championships in a row, and they're going for 3. Oh, wow. How about that? 504 yards a game. They only give up 289. Did I mention they're a complete team? Talk to me.
Yeah, I really want this to be a good game, but I can't be convinced of that. Maybe Tennessee being at home and Georgia being at home the past 2 games and now they're away, maybe, but I don't think that'll matter. Carson Beck has looked insane the past 3 games. Brock Bowers is back. McConkey has played great with Brock Bowers out. And the only way Tennessee has a chance is while Georgia's in that feeling out phase in the beginning of the game, Tennessee runs up a lead and then holds on for dear life for 3 quarters. But even then, I don't think that's going to happen. Georgia's got this, I think, and covers.
What? Excuse. Back off, young man. Back off. Now, Mel says you better hope. You better hope.
We say that every week, though. Let's hope they don't catch Georgia slipping.
I know.
And then they blow them out by 40.
I know. Working Brock Bowers back into the lineup with McConkey for the first time. I think it was good last week. I think it's going to show big. Give me 70 yards receiving for both McConkey and Bowers and a tutty apiece. Give me Georgia. Give me the points and give me the over of 58.5. Let's move on to our next one. Washington at Oregon State. Oregon State, 2.5-point favorites. Yes, I just said that. This line is disrespectful as hell. I'm going to flat out say it. I don't care. I don't care if Washington's on the road. This line is disrespectful as hell. I love this. Hey, I love the Beavers. This is my squad. Okay? This is my squad. But they've been a betting top 3 for me, actually. Okay? But so has Washington. I get that they put 62 on Stanford, but that is not Washington. So it could be like 45 to 50. But it's not Stanford. Okay? Can Washington continue to outscore everyone? And how do they handle their 3rd big game in a row? That is important. It has now been USC, Utah in consecutive weeks. This is absolutely a big game. DJU, he's not scared of big games, and he's been in them before. Okay? 2 2,254, 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Like I said, been in the big stages, been in big games. He needs to outplay Michael Penix Jr., the Heisman front runner-ish. I don't know about all that. Talk to me.
First of all, I don't remember Kentucky LSU number 2 because I was 1 year old. So sorry.
I do. And listen, it absolutely could happen.
Hey, Mel, you're getting into my points. All right, you're getting into my talking points here. All right, so relax. Hey, this is a great test for Penix Jr. again. Oregon State has the 8th best sack percentage, but the passing defense isn't that great for Oregon State. They're 82nd in opposing passing yards per game, so they're going to have to get to the quarterback. They're not going to want to let Michael Penix throw the ball because that's going to be dangerous. I feel like this is going to play out very similar to Washington's games. It's going to be close. I think Washington's going to get up ahead late, and that defense is going to make a play to kind of seal the game. It just feels like one of those games. But one thing to look out for, Oregon State defense makes turnovers, exactly what Mel was saying in the chat. They get about 2 a game and have a +1 turnover margin per game. So if Oregon State's going to win, they're going to have to commit turnovers, and it looks like they're good at it. So we'll see.
I think Oregon State can keep it close. I can't bet against Washington right now. I can't. I'll let the Kentucky LSU upset happen on me. So I'm not betting against Washington. Over under 63.5. I like it. Let's keep rolling. Utah. And actually, I have to. Sorry about that. Number 22, Utah at number 17, Arizona. Arizona are 1-point favorites. Last gasp of the Pac-12 as they continue to eat each other alive. Arizona coming off a late comeback of Colorado, a game they should have lost. Utah coming off of a loss. This Utah team, like we've talked about, deserves praise. I mean, for overcoming the injuries that they have, they absolutely deserve some love. Arizona has been in every game this year, minus getting whacked by Washington State a month ago. Okay, I want to give them some love, these Wildcats. A preseason projected win total of 5. They're already at 8. Or it's now 8. Wildcats scoring 13.3 more points than last year. Talk to me.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love Arizona. I love what they're doing. I don't think they're there yet. I think Utah's defense absolutely torches Noah Fifita, the freshman quarterback for Arizona. And I think they force him to make some mistakes early. I think they get Utah gets rolling. I don't think they look back. I think Utah slows this game down. I think they will try to force Arizona to be patient and look for the stuff. I don't think Arizona is going to want to be patient. I think they're going to try to make big plays. I think that it's going to hurt them. And I think Utah pounces, and I think they win this one.
So everybody knows who Ric Flair is. Not everybody knows who Buddy Rogers is, who is the person that Ric Flair took a lot of his stuff from. It's wrestling. So this is not stealing. This is me taking something and hopefully taking it to the next level. Not so fast, my friend. Arizona absolutely gets in. I like this. I like or it's not technically an upset, but I like Arizona. But more than I like Arizona, I love the 44.5. Smash that over.
Okay.
All right. Those are the big games. Sunglasses on. Some J. Cole and Jay-Z mixed in the playlist because that's how me and Lil Bro take road trips. Let's cruise through the rest of these games, big guy. All right?
Let's do it.
Wake Forest at number 17, Notre Dame. The Irish, my Irish, 24.5-point favorites. This is the Sam Hartman Bowl as he faces his former team. A week off after losing the Ken Eats His Words Bowl. My Irish are back. Pitt is the only team Wake has beaten that's even close to being decent. Okay? Irish win big, cover, and make me happy. Tell me I'm wrong. Excuse me.
No, yeah, hey. I'll be at this game this weekend, actually, much to Ken's chagrin. Shout out to Andrew Cross, brother of my old roommate and the person that's taking me to this game, Justin Cross. Andrew is a backup long snapper for the Fighting Irish as a freshman and was the number 1 long snapper in the country his senior year of high school. So shout out to those guys. But in regards to Notre Dame, the bye week I think is going to help the offense for Notre Dame get right. The defense I think is going to continue to be great. Give me Notre Dame by a couple tutties.
Couple studies. I'm so mad at you that you're going to be in my home stadium watching my home stadium, but my team's home stadium watching this game. Oh, yeah, I agree, Mel. If it was the hoops, I would say Wake too. Okay, all right, we don't
Women's
do.
hoops, I take Notre Dame.
Oh no, women's hoops, no Irish by Irish by 100 like last night. Watching them girls. They won I think by like 30 or 40. But yeah,
Ooh.
absolutely. Yeah, Irish, absolutely. And mom, we'll do it right now. I did hear this. We forgot to put it in the news.
Yes.
Yeah, Jim Donovan back from fighting leukemia, back for the Browns this Sunday. So make sure you tune in and check it out. Jim, all the love to you. Browns games are much better when he's on the call.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
move on to our trap game. Number 3, Michigan, 19-point favorites at Maryland. I originally had in my notes that we were going to find out Friday about Jim Harbaugh, but we already know Jim ain't going to be there. He's going to be in the hotel calling from there for the rest of the year. Maryland has been punchy this year, and everybody knows I like to ride with these Terrapins, but I've liked the Wolverines from the get-go. I think they are a top team. Should be said, though, Michigan is not going to win many more games throwing 0 passes in a half. Okay, I don't care who it is. It's not going to be against Maryland. It's not going to be against Ohio State or anyone else in front of you. You are not going to win throwing 0 times. I know it was a statement, and I know it was a FU Penn State. We're going to do this to you, but let's be careful now, okay? Go ahead. I like Michigan, and I like the over 50. I love the over here.
I was going to say I don't disagree with you there. Michigan is going to absolutely stomp on Maryland, and honestly, I think you're wrong. I think they are going to run Maryland into the ground. I think they are going to just continue to prove.
They're not going to pass 0 times.
No, but they're still going to. I think they're going to run for 250, 300 yards. Like they are going to absolutely demolish Maryland. They continue to just eat this up and gain more motivation. It's going to be ridiculous.
Yep, let's keep it rolling. Speaking of a team we have talked way too much about in the past 2 weeks, Rutgers travels to number 12 Penn State. Penn State are 20.5-point favorites. Both teams looking to bounce back from physical beatings from one of the teams we just talked about. Penn State with a new offensive coordinator. I think the defense is obviously going to carry them here. I could see Penn State making that over a 42.5, something interesting to play with, just because I think this is if you're gonna pull it. I mean, come on. So, Mel, I think you are absolutely crazy. All right, listen, the Maryland. I am obligated by the pod to no longer take Maryland, so I appreciate Mel doing it for me. Like I said, not a great game here.
No,
okay? not a great game. Go ahead.
No. Listen, Penn State was uninspiring last week, but you can't lay an egg and expect me to pick you this week. So I think Penn State's gonna dominate Rutgers on both sides. I like Penn State big.
I agree. Man, these games are kind of mid. So you go ahead and drive.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'll take whatever I can get. Number 9, Missouri at home hosting 5-5 Florida. Missouri coming off a big win against Tennessee, looking good. Florida held their own against LSU, but couldn't hold on the entire time. Florida now on a 3-game losing streak. Missouri playing great football. I like Missouri. You got anything to add?
I mean, no. With all due, this is a 5-loss Gator team, man. I mean, I'm sorry. There's no chance in hell. Stop disrespecting our Tigers. Okay, they played Georgia the best so far. Okay, and considering Georgia doesn't have any losses, I mean, that's really all we can judge it on. So, yeah, this is not a great game, man. I hope you have a better one.
Sure. Let's see. Number 2, Ohio State, hosting 5-5 Minnesota. Like we said earlier, prep game for Ohio State, just the same as Michigan. I think they'll do the same as Michigan. Keep rolling in next week. Got anything?
Marvin Harrison show. Give me 3 touchdowns. Lock it in. I like the cover and the over of 48.5 from Ohio State. Drew, this is not exactly what I meant, but you gave me Ohio State. You gave me Marvin Harrison Jr. Can you give me something a little bit more competitive?
Yeah, I can. You know what? I can do that. Number 10, Louisville on the road traveling to 6-4 Miami. Now, both defenses are good, but Miami's rushing defense is legit. 3 yards per carry, 92 rushing yards per game. That's what they're giving up. And that's Louisville's main threat. They kill it in the run game. Now, I will say, Louisville's the better team, but they cannot underestimate this Miami team that still has the talent to challenge top teams. So I like Louisville, but if they come out stale and get down a little early, that could be a lot of trouble. What are your thoughts on it?
Our first upset alert of the week.
Ooh.
Louisville is reeling because listen, if there's no injury, I'm not sure Virginia loses that game. Like we said, Miami is coming off a close game for Florida State. They had a chance to tie it up late. There is an injury. I think that's going to be kind of what the key is there. I kind of like this over 46.5. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like Louisville, but more of like an all you feeling. Potentially coming up there later. But that's about it. You're a bit shaky, and I'm about to blow the whistle on you like wilding out. Okay, you are out of here. So let's keep going. You got to have better games for me.
All right, let's shift over to the Big 12.
Hold on. Absolutely. The Schellenberger Bowl.
Oh, man. All right, let's go to the Big 12. Number 7, Texas, going on the road to 6-4 Iowa State. Texas has played in games decided by 7 or less points 4 out of the last 5 games. And I think this is going to be another one. Iowa State, I think, is good enough to hold Texas offensively and make this a scrappy game. It's prime time. They're at home. Jonathan Brooks out really hurt Texas. They have to turn to freshman C.J. Baxter to carry the load on the ground.
6-4 Iowa State in prime time.
But with all that said, I think Texas finds a way to hold on. I don't think Iowa State has enough to overcome the talent gap. Give me Texas close.
Texas is back, baby, and it should be an easy one. Quinn gets them rolling. We're not even doing the last name thing. Hook 'em horns, all that. Where is my whistle? Because we are about to pull this car over. Give me something better than Iowa State in prime time. Come on.
Okay, fine. Number 14, Oklahoma, traveling to 5-5 BYU.
24.5 point favorites over BYU. Come on.
BYU losing 3 in a row, total of 26 points those games. Oklahoma, obviously, we'll keep it rolling because I know you think the exact same.
I mean, yeah, Sooners in the over 56.5. Like this is a no-brainer. I'm looking for exits on our ride around the country right now to make you pull off. We're in the middle of nowhere, so there are no one. Can you at least go back to giving me a player that I like in a game?
I can do that for you. Number 23, Oklahoma State on the road to 4-6 Houston. If you wanted a guy, Oklahoma State and running back Ollie Gordon looking to bounce back after the surprisingly awful performance against UCF. Houston looking to bounce back as well after they got ran over by my Bearcats. Houston's rushing defense is pretty poor. They don't have an offense to keep up with Oklahoma State. Give me Oklahoma State pretty big. What about you?
First of all, Mel, BYU is also like Maryland. I am not allowed to be in the betting positive of either of those two teams right now. Oklahoma State bounce back week. And most importantly, my guy, Ollie Gordon, the second bounce back week. I'm going to call 250 plus and 2 touchdowns. Book it. Okay. Lock it in. Woo. All right. You got me back. Let's go. Cowboys. And I also like the Cowboys to cover that 7. Okay. All right. Let's keep it going. What you got for me next?
All right. I'll get you another guy. Number 6, Oregon travels to Arizona State, who's 3-7. Bo Nix, another opportunity to pad that Heisman campaign. And listen, nothing is stopping Oregon. Nothing at all. Just give me them and give me the cover. I think this one is going to be a blowout. What about you?
All right, you gave me Bo Nix, but this doesn't help you here, okay? Oregon big, 53 on the over is an absolute lock, okay? I'm sorry, these games are bad, and the only thing that's going to make this worse is if we talk about Iowa football.
Well, you say that. Number 16, Iowa. Stays at home to 5-5 Illinois.
5-5 Illinois. What a week.
I apologize, Iowa. I didn't know you were like that. Iowa coming off a shutout of Rutgers, and Illinois coming off a late win in a rare Big Ten shootout against Indiana. Good offense versus good defense here. Illinois can score, so I don't think it'll be as bad as Rutgers, but I think Iowa's stifling that Illinois defense or Illinois offense, and I think their offense is going to do just enough to win. Give me Iowa.
Upset alert, because Iowa can't score enough for them to ever not be on upset alert. And Illinois put up some points this week, or put up some points this year. I'm gonna go here. I'll go out on a limb. for everybody. The over-under is 30.5. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking about it, and I might touch it. I really, because the Fighting Illini can score some points. You are killing me right now. This is when I wanted you to drive. I did not think you were going to drive me in circles in the middle of nowhere. Oh, let's go, buddy.
All right, you know what? We'll go to a place where always has action, the quote-unquote best conference. We'll go to the SEC. Number 8, Alabama, taking on 7-3 Chattanooga.
Are we for real right now? Like, I get and respect the SEC as much as anybody that isn't named Paul Feinbaum. I can never get his name right. But what the hell is this? Roll Tide.
Yeah, me too. Listen, at least Chattanooga is 7-3. We're looking at this next game. Number 13, Ole Miss, go take it on 2-8 UL Monroe.
They're 37-point favorites. Come on. Like I said, I respect the SEC. I really do. But come on, Ole Miss.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Those were noon games. Let's hit a late night SEC game. All right. Number 15, LSU, hosting 6-4 Georgia State.
Georgia State. So we're just this is for real with this shit this week with the SEC. Okay. Did I mention I respect the SEC? Okay. Tigers win.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Hey, maybe it's the SEC. Yeah, it's the SEC this week. They have that kind of thing. Let's go to another conference. Let's go to the ACC. Let's go to the ACC. You know what? Let's do the best team in the ACC. Yeah, let's do that. All right.
All right, come on, Florida State. Let's go. Come on.
Number 4, Florida State, hosting North Alabama, who's 3-7.
Not Alabama. North Alabama. Whatever, man. Just go.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. You know what? Hey, if we got to talk about games with non-Power 5 teams, let's at least go back to Cincinnati's old conference. All right, let's go to the American. All right, number 24, Tulane, 9-1, traveling to FAU. Tulane is doing what Americans team do best. They win by the skin of their teeth. I think they'll do the same here. Give me Tulane in a nail biter.
I wouldn't pick Tulane to cover their own eyes. Pull over the damn car. You are no longer driving on the median. Keys to me. You are done. Okay, let's save this. North Carolina at Clemson. Clemson, 6.5-point favorites. This has Clemson written all over it. It really does. Okay, listen, they beat up in the cornball speech against the Irish last week. They beat down Georgia Tech. The two-headed monster of Phil Maffa and Will Shipley. I like the Tigers at home. I think North Carolina is an improving team. I know we say that every year, but they're going to lose the big one like they have. I think Clemson can cover here, and I do like the over.
Yeah, listen, Clemson's going to win, and let me tell you why. North Carolina, they can score, but they cannot defend at all. And what can Clemson do? They can defend, and they will choke North Carolina's offense all day. And you know what? They just got their offense back in sync. Unfortunately, it was against you. And so that plus being at home, I love Clemson here.
I absolutely do too. Our next game, Kansas State, 8.5-point favorites against Kansas. Drew, I need to make an emergency step off the pod for a second. I want you to talk to the people about this game.
No, please do it, because this is actually a game that I want to talk about. Being that much favorites, being away at Kansas is crazy, but I don't think it's unwarranted. Kansas State looks like a top 10 team at sometimes, but they look like an unranked team sometimes, just how up and down they've been. Fortunately for them, it's a primetime game. It's against a rival. They're going to get up, and I love them this game. Will Howard is playing great. That rushing defense is carrying them. And that's all they have to do to stop Kansas. Kansas might be on their second or third string quarterback. And so they're going to have to lean on that running game to win. And with that Kansas State rushing defense, Kansas is in big trouble. That's pretty much all I got. But I love Kansas State. Oh, we're back. All right.
I'm back.
I love Kansas State. There he is. I love Kansas State. What about you?
I got to flip back up. I apologize for that because sometimes when your sugar gets low, you have no choice but to kind of to jump in.
No, you're good, man.
Like I said, it's live. Things happen when it's live. number one, I think the problem for Kansas is the injury. You know what I mean? I mean, when you don't have potentially the guy who's been doing it for you, okay? You talked about the Wildcats defense, 19 points a game. Yeah, they average 39 themselves. I mean, come on. Kansas State has 3 losses, okay? 2 by 3 points and 1 by 8. Okay, they do not exactly lose big margins. And those teams that they lost to, Missouri, Oklahoma State, and Texas.
Yeah, good team.
You know, not bums, okay?
No.
All right. So if Jason Bean is healthy, I think Kansas has a chance, but just a chance. Kansas at home is fun though. Okay, they are, and I think this over a 56.5 is very fun as well.
That's fair. I like it.
I also want to mention I'm never letting you drive ever again. Man. All right, we're going to talk about one of my favorite segments. We are going to talk our Ohio games. Full disclosure, man. I had me a nice parlay going on Tuesday night. Akron and Bowling Green both to win. Akron loses to Eastern Michigan 27-30 in overtime, and Toledo clips Bowling Green 32-31 with like 30 seconds left in the game. Go ahead.
I don't watch MAC a lot. I know I should, but I don't. I turned it on right before, and my roommate who's over there asked me, hey, who do you got tonight? I'm probably going to run up a quick parlay. I went, give me Toledo, give me Eastern Michigan, and Northern Illinois and Western Michigan was playing. I said, give me Northern Illinois. He put them all in. They all won. Absolutely incredible. Eastern Michigan won in double overtime after never leading in regulation the whole game. And Toledo came back from a 28-10 halftime deficit to outscore BG 22-3 in the second half to keep their great season alive. Action was in full display on Tuesday, and it was awesome to watch.
It was awesome, except for me betting. Like, it was amazing, and so you run the parlays now, okay? So I'll just pass them over to you, and you can run the parlays. But yeah, I threw a quick look. I like Bowling Green. Okay, the odds were great. Okay, listen, if I had to bet, I would have bet on Toledo. They're the MAC favorites. But man, Bowling Green's been hot for me. I was like, and we got Akron. We're going to the Akron game here next week. Akron versus Ohio. The 216 Sports Network will be there. Me, Drew, Mel, Rico. So I'm like, let's go. Let me get some Akron love. This is a great little $2 little parlay I got going. And yeah, 30 seconds left in double overtime. Thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate it. Some other games, Buffalo. We talked about that. Buffalo. Kent State at Ball State is coming up as well. Ball State are 12.5 point favorites. And our last Ohio game of the week, Cincinnati at West Virginia, 2-pot favorites. West Virginia, 6.5 point favorites. Talk to me about yo Bearcats.
Yeah, well, I'm against half of my family this weekend. Shout out. But hey, we won a game last week. The 7-game losing streak is over. It felt really good. We leaned on our running game and our defense, what we should have done all year instead of throwing the ball. But whatever. We basically need to do the same thing to have a chance. But West Virginia isn't Houston. I like West Virginia in this game because we're on the road. We look good, but I don't think we're there yet. I like West Virginia in this one.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I do too. I think it's kind of like not a no-brainer, but I mean pretty much a no-brainer there. Actually, as much as I like talking Ohio games, and I do, and I love me some MAC football, this is my favorite right here, baby. It is Tiffin time, ladies and gentlemen. The Tiffin Dragons, 26-7 over Finley. Go ahead, I'll do it. Add it in, buddy. There are the slides. Absolutely. The Dragons dominate once again with 19 first-half points, not allowing Finley on the board until 4 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in the game. 100 yards passing, 255 yards on the ground, and that started with the first drive with a Devin Nelson 88-yard run where then Carson Gressack punched it in, and the Dragons never looked back. Read me some of those stats and give a shout out to the defense, Strabo.
Yes. Listen, absolutely crazy. Devin Nelson, sorry, finished with 124 yards. Carson Gressick finished with 71 and 3 touchdowns. Tyrese Banks-Doran added 48 as well. Yeah, like you said, shout out to the defense. 3 turnovers, 4 sacks. Antonio Obery, Jesse Connell with sacks. Raymond Jackson with a sack and a forced fumble. Chucky Lewis and Caleb Street with interceptions. Absolutely insane. They lock up a bye in the first round of the D2 playoffs. And
Absolutely.
listen, as always, we hit up Keegan this week, fresh off the win. There he is.
There is my
What did he have to say?
Yeah. First of all, like I said, there is our guy. I mean, that is my dude. I love Oos. That is Keegan. I'm pulling up the text right here. I asked him 2 things basically. I wanted him to put in perspective what it is for this team to lock up the GMAC championship, an undefeated season, kind of put it in perspective for us. And my other question was, now that they've locked up that first round bye, how do you carry that dominant performance this year, especially this one against Finley, the one that we're mentioning now, onto the playoffs? And I let him off the hook for a third question because they locked up undefeated season. First of all, he said thank you, and he gave a shout out to the pod. He said he really does appreciate, giving us the love. Of course, my guy. It feels amazing to be cemented into TU history. It shows all the hard work that the boys have put in, and it's amazing to see that. And how do they carry? They just go into like it's a normal bye week. Good Tuesday lift to help for the rest of the week, and they keep rolling. We're gonna check back in with Keegan and the rest of those boys next week as they get ready for the first. Well, it will be the first round for them, but the second round. I want to give some more love because we're dragging love over here. I want to shout out some records that they broke this year. 79 points in a game. They did that in the home opener. 8 forced turnovers in one game. 2,904 rushing yards this year. That is a team record, school record, and an undefeated 11-0 season. So absolutely, shout out to those Tiffin Dragons. Shout out to our cousin Keegan right there, showing off the trophy. Love you, big guy. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your time on it. You know what it's time for. Teams we love. Who do you love? And are all U's. Strabo, you start.
Yes. Hey, listen, I love some people this week. First one, Kansas State. This team is absolutely legit when they're running on all cylinders, and there's no time to not be on all cylinders than against a rival. In prime time, absolutely ready. I love them this week. And you know who else I love? The entire state of Oklahoma. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. I love both of them to win and win big.
Okay. I love these spreads. All right. Sorry. I have my all U's first. So spoiler alert. I loved ranked teams. Yeah, ranked teams this week. You heard the run through a lot of Chattanoogas and Lafayette's and agricultural state colleges. So I definitely like that. I like some covers. Those are coming up. And I like Clemson. Again. Who are your all U's?
Speaking off of some Chattanoogas, teams my all U's, 70% of the SEC that is playing non-conference week games. And listen, not just the ones we mentioned. Mississippi State is playing Southern Mississippi. Texas A&M is playing Abilene Christian. Auburn is playing New Mexico State. And Arkansas is playing Florida International. Come on, man. Like, it's ridiculous. Exactly. I'll calm down. The only other all you that I have, anybody that thinks the top 4 is going to slack off this week. I exclude Washington because it's a tough game, but the top 4 are locked in and will be cleaning house this week and looking forward to next week, rivalry week, and conference championships the week after.
I like it. Spoiler alert, because I read them wrong. My all you, these spreads on some of these bad games, I don't want to touch them. It's not that I don't think so and so is a 37-point favorite or is good enough. I'm not touching those kind of games, especially with some of the results we've seen this year. I mentioned it. Louisville, all you. I'm good. Miami coming off that loss. They're going to be hot and ready. I know it's a backup quarterback. We've seen stranger things happen. So I am all you on Louisville. Vandy basketball, I am all you already. They struggled with UNC Greensboro the other night. Yeah, I'm already giving you a preview of the college basketball pot. All right, I got 5 to 6 games going tonight in here. Once the kid goes to sleep, all right, this is what I do for you. So
I didn't know we were watching Vandy basketball in November.
It occupied when I had the MAC football going. I watched Duke, Michigan State. I watched whoever followed that up.
But those are good. We're talking Vandy basketball here.
I mean, I had a third screen, so yeah, Vandy, UNC Greensboro, baby, we absolutely went for it. But speaking of which, money, bets, we love it. Change that banner for me when you get a second, bro. Let's talk bets, baby. Here are my overs. You know I love to hit these overs. Here's my best ones of the week. Rutgers and Penn State, absolutely love it. Maryland and Michigan, 50.5, absolutely love it. Utah and Arizona, what conference do they play in? The Pac over conference, okay? Wake Forest and Notre Dame, that 46.5. Wake Forest will score a point or two, and Notre Dame, I think, will put up some points there. Yeah, you see it there. Illinois, Iowa, yeah, 30.5. I like it. Your teams, I like that Georgia 10.5. I already told you I like Clemson. So that minus 260, now minus 6.5 is tasty. Missouri, minus 450, minus 11.5, rolling. And I think they feel the disrespect. Texas, minus 280, minus 7.5. I already gave Texas enough love. USC, yeah, minus 6.5, minus 260 against UCLA in the Fire Chip Kelly Bowl. I absolutely like it. Now, we don't just hit our bets, we hit our upsets, and here they are. My underlying ones are the ones that I really, really like. Washington, yes, is an upset. Okay, betting wise and gambling wise, if it's a plus, it counts for me. So they are plus 2.5, plus 114. Smack that, grab it, all over it. Cincinnati plus 198 against West Virginia. I like it. I do. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it win, but it's you want to look for some money. Virginia plus 158. I really like that one as well. Now, flip side of a couple of those. If you do like North Carolina over Clemson, plus 6.5, plus 210. If you like Tennessee to shock Georgia, plus 350. If you like Miami to shock, who did Miami play? We just lost it. I lost it. We're prepared. Miami versus Louisville. Yeah, who I just said all you. See, I'm too far into the pod. My sugar got low. Sorry, everybody. I'm rallying. Miami plus 1.5. Minus 110. It was a pick 'em. So, I mean, as you see, and yeah, there you go. I called it. Illinois over to Iowa, plus 3.5, plus 128. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm betting on it. Your Coach Prime Colorado special, plus 4.5, plus 160.
Okay.
We're gonna get it done.
Let's do it.
Why not this week? Okay. College bets are done. So let's hit the footy. EPL review. So we're going to go for another ride. Don't even ask. You're not driving. Sheffield won, Brighton won in our first game to review. Austin Trusty got the start again for the Blades, as did Ansu Fati, who is a big loanee from Brighton. You're already shaking your head at me, you look like. What did I do wrong?
You didn't do anything wrong.
Simon Adringa, a 6-minute goal, put Sheffield United up 1-0, and it was an absolutely beautiful goal. Came in off the left-hand side, cut in, past the guy, one touch, finished past the keeper. Mohamed Daoud was then sent off in the 69th minute for basically stamping on the back of the leg of Ben Osborne. Sheffield then had some good build-up, whipped it across. Adam Webster hit it in his own net for a tie game. Jalen Bogle was right there to clean it up if that did not go in. Drew, talk to me a little bit about this game.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, if you win a game in the Premier League, you get 3 points. So in 5 games, if you have a maximum of 15 points, you can get 15 points in 5 games. Brighton have 4 and no wins. Brighton, are you okay?
No,
Like, this was a great result for Sheffield. Great result. But I think this is more about Brighton because what is going on over there?
I mean, Wes Fodderingham, he is Sheffield United's goalie, has led in a league leading 31 goals. Brighton should have I Brighton had chances and the possession and literally should have won this game 2-1, 3-1. This is absolutely about Brighton, who are now down to eighth, a point, just 1 point behind up and down Newcastle. I mean, I do want to give some love to Sheffield. They still are at the bottom in 19th and 4 points, okay, from the last safe team, Bournemouth. But yeah, I absolutely think this is about Brighton and how just absolutely up and down they have been. If it ever was a team that needed an international break, which we have this week, it would absolutely be Brighton.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree completely.
All right, let's keep going. Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1. VAR took away an early call for a penalty. Thank goodness it was right thing. And Anton Robinson, 27 own goal, got the scoring started. Really unlucky, to be honest with you. Yuri Talisman whipped in a beautiful ball that ricocheted off the keeper, off to onto Robinson, who was just making his run behind the keeper. Not really anything he could do. John McGinn then had just a great touch and a forward finish in the 42nd minute. Ali
Not John
Watkins.
McGinn.
Oh, John McGinn, have a hit, son. Ali Watkins then made it 3-0 in the 64th minute with a great Villa counter off of that Fulham corner that he finished off. And then Raul Jimenez got one back for Fulham in the 70th minute with a beautiful ball played in from Anton Robinson, who played it over Jimenez, who slided it home to give one back for Fulham. Drew, talk to me.
Yeah, no, this is kind of what we saw coming. Aston Villa bounces back against a very toothless Fulham team. They really don't look like they have anything going on in the attack. And this Fulham team just sits 2 spots above the relegation zone. So it's getting close there. It's getting kind of scary.
Yeah, I agree. I have here, we'll talk about that first. Like I said, Fulham 16th, like you said, 6 clear of that relegation zone. I just did the Brian Windhorst. But yeah, Villa hanging in 5th, 3 points off the leaders though. I'm sorry, it was that one. Or the fingers, my bad. I want to Yori Talisman. He had a good game. But are we ready to talk about the letdown in terms of talent here? Because yeah, he played well, but that's no longer the norm. And we were talking about a guy who potentially was moving to one of the big 6 clubs: Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City, or to Real Madrid, Barcelona. There was some Bayern Munich talk, and now he sits on the bench at Aston Villa and occasionally makes a start. Like, at some point, we need to talk about a disappointment there.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened. I want to say 2 years ago, he was on fire for Leicester City, the main cog in that midfield. And it might just be one of those things where they just flame out. They have a good season and then they get figured out on how they play. Maybe they don't advance as much as they were expecting them to. And yeah, it's weird, it's shocking, but unfortunately we've seen this too many times.
Absolutely. It was supposed to be the next upcoming guy for that Belgium midfield, and it just has not been there. All right, let's keep it going. West Ham 3, Nottingham Forest 2. Brazilian Lucas Paqueta capitalizes off a forward mistake and curls in a beautiful strike in the 3rd minute. This was a great back and forth open game. Forest had so many chances to equalize. Before they finally did, Awoniyi puts home on the rebound. I'm not even going to attempt to go back through that name. Anthony Elanga, former Manchester United player, finally got off the score sheet as well after basically being the biggest threat of the game in the 63rd minute to give Forest the lead. But hometown boy Jared Bowen equalized off corner in front of his home fans just 2 minutes later to tie it up at 2-2 before Thomas Souček won it in the 88th minute to get the Hammers the game. Drew, talk to me.
Yeah, West Ham finally. We've been talking about them bouncing back for games now.
Miss Lucy, all it takes is back on track. Miss Lucy, your Hammers are back on track.
All it takes is Nottingham Forest, apparently. But Nottingham Forest proved that their clean sheet last week was just a fluke. Matt Turner benched again, though, which kind of sucks. But maybe they realize that, giving up 3 goals here, maybe they realize he isn't the problem and it's that defense. So we'll see. But Yeah, it's not looking good for Nottingham Forest, unfortunately.
No, James Ward-Prowse with a good game, 2 assists. I love to bring up James Ward-Prowse because Andrew is not the biggest fan of him. He didn't think he would be good. You didn't think that James Ward-Prowse could fit into a Big Six club. Is more
Yeah.
of what you said. I think he could. I would take anybody at this point, but we'll go from there. Like you said, Forest should have got a point here. Forest should have at least got a point out of this. It should have been a draw if they had way more chances, if not the win. West Ham now sit 8th comfortably. Okay. All right. Comfortably mid. All right. For the kids out there. 3 points off of European football. Yeah. Are you laughing at me for
Yeah, you old man.
yeah, old man. Shouting out the kids. Forest 15th, 7 points from safety. Oof. Or 7 points from the safety zone, or relegation, I should say, not safety. Let's keep going. Liverpool 3, Brentford 0. 2 early goals called back for offsides, but it didn't really much matter, to be honest. Mo Salah placed one past the keeper to give Liverpool a 1-0 lead, and then he would double it in the 62nd minute when a cross came in from the back post, and all he literally had to just do was go boop and hit it with his head. Jota then thundered one home to give Liverpool all 3 points. Your turn.
Yeah, listen, Brentford had plenty of chances in this game. They had plenty of shots, but there was no end product. And unfortunately, this is a main difference between a middle of the table team that's really hot all of a sudden and a solid top of the table team. Because, when you get hot against middle of the table teams, you're going to score a bunch. But once you face that solid top of the table team, you need to finish your chances. And when you don't, like Brentford did, this is what happens because they're going to score the chances they get.
Liverpool are in the mix, but do we actually really think they could win it?
Yeah, I do actually. Maybe it's just because I've seen how this kind of plays out before, but I think they've actually figured out that offense. Like Salah has always been good, but I think they figured out that striker and that left winger position finally in terms of the attack. And maybe the defense is getting a little old, but I think they have 1 year left in them, and that midfield is actually really good. So I like them. I actually do think they can have a chance to contend.
I think Klopp is the reason. I think Klopp is the reason that they could finish above Arsenal and Spurs, and he gets a lot of crap. And I give him a lot of stick too, but he goes at it for his guys. He absolutely goes ballistic. He goes to bat for his guys, and I think Liverpool kind of need this because I'm not saying it's not a talented roster, but I mean the year that they won everything. I mean it was Salah, it was Firmino, it was Sane, Jordan Henderson at the top of his game, Alexander-Arnold at the top of his game, Andrew Robertson at the top of that game. He has great attacking players, but this is not the squad that he had. And I think he can be able to he kind of wears out his welcome sometimes because when he has the top squad, I think that chirping and that into you all the time mentality can wear on guys. But when you give him just a little bit less, I think he can push that. So I actually think Klopp is the reason that Liverpool are the contender that they are. You agree?
No, completely. I think Klopp is an amazing coach. Honestly, I know you're going to hate to hear this. He, I think, is very similar in terms of how he protrudes himself and how he coaches his team to Dabo. Honestly, I think that he's one of those guys that really gets a lot out of him and really is a big motivator in terms of his team and is really able to get the most out of guys.
Moving on. Enough Dabo talk. Bournemouth 2, Newcastle 0 or 0 for our Americans. Newcastle without 11 first-team players through injury and suspension. That's not good for anyone. And Bournemouth went for it, and a Dominic Solanke second-half double drops Newcastle, gives Bournemouth just their second win of the season, and just another team that has responded to the Straub Sports Show call-out, because we said last week, Bournemouth struggling and in need for points immediately. And what did they do? They went out and bagged all 3. Talk to me, Drew.
Yeah, listen, luckily Newcastle are last in their Champions League group, so they might not have to play 2 games in a week because, Jesus, they look like I know there's a bunch of injuries and they're playing with, a lot of backups, but they just look like they don't care out there in league games. They look like they're saving all their energy for Champions League games, and this is what you get. You know what I mean? And so if they're not going to even make Champions League, maybe, like I said, maybe they'll be able to play better when they have one game a week like they used to. Because Jesus, but props to Bournemouth though, because that was a really good game.
Absolutely, like we said, Newcastle up and down. I mean, it's like they're gonna have to also find some balance where not every game that they win is because they overpress and just absolutely just run you down. Like they've got to be able to kind of tune it down, especially with all these injuries. Newcastle 7th, they're in a Europe spot, but it's not looking good. It's really not. Bournemouth 9 points in 17th. Okay, just 3 points. Okay, just 3 points clear that rally. Come on. Arsenal 3, Burnley 1. A back and forth first half saw the Gunners have more than a couple chances, and then in stoppage time of first half, a Zinchenko ball in that Sarah headed, that's Saka headed back towards Trossard, who threw himself into the goalie and absolutely got shoulder tackled in the head. But he got it in and he scored. Burnley would punch back early in the second half with a deflected strike from Josh Brownwell to level it at 1. William Saliba headed home a corner 3 minutes later. And then Shinchenko again scissor kicked one home off a corner kick rebound to put this one to rest. Talk to me about your favorite team, Arsenal.
Listen, impressive performance. This just shows the talent. Burnley, Vincent Kompany, their manager, got him playing decently well, but Arsenal looked really good, and you can tell by how they play the game. They won by 2. Nothing surprising there. Really, nothing else I want to talk about them, if I'm being completely honest, because this was we saw this happening. It did happen. Let's move on.
No, I understand. Arsenal, they've showed some cracks. Okay, they did win this game. Okay, this is all right. This is not the same level as Spurs by any mean, but there's some okay, and I think are they going to be in this? Not really, not really. You know what I mean? Or have they actually taken that next step? I think we need to find out here because I think this is where Arsenal can take that next step. Like I said, they're in third. They're only 1 point off of City, so it's not like City has just blown away this race and is just running away from everyone. But when you watch City play, yeah, you're welcome. Very much so, you Mr. 4-4 draw. We will get to that. But I'm just saying, Arsenal look weary right now. Pace the cracks up and let's keep rolling. All right. One of the pod's favorites, Everton 3, Crystal Palace 2. Another good back and forth game as we had early and late goals. Did you make that because I said Everton was a pod favorite?
No, I'm like the fact that they won. Like
it's all of this right here. Everton took early lead from a free kick, and then Michaelenko just 52 seconds in a free header, not a free kick. The Eagles equalized 4 minutes later after Ezra made an amazing run, was taken down inside the area, converted his own penalty kick, a cheeky one. Absolutely chipped over into the side to make it 1-1. Dokore then made it 2-1 to the Blues in the 49th after volleyed one in after Michaelenko drilled one off the post. That was and then but Palace wasn't done yet. They tied it up in the 74th minute, and then Dokore was involved again as he fed Gore, who slotted it home to give Everton the lead in the 85th minute. Before I talk about the streak of the Straub pod, talk to me about this game.
Have Everton finally figured it out?
Ooh, baby.
I haven't seen Everton play this well since they had Richarlison and James Rodriguez in 2020, 3 years ago. And so when they finished 10th and we were like, oh, is this Everton going to challenge for Europe soon? And then they sunk and went to almost relegation. And I had them battling relegation this year, but man, they are figuring it out. And just at the right, they are looking good.
They 100% are. And like I said, I want to talk about the streak of Straw Pot. Everton have won 2, tied 1, and lost only 1 since we've started our podcast. It's clearly a Strawbro Sports Show. They're sitting 14th, 8 points clear of relegation. Okay, let's go. Okay, All right, let's go. Crystal Palace just ahead of them in 13th. So let's go. Come on, Everton. Come on, Everton. All right, let's keep rolling. I definitely tried to link our Snapchat one to put the link, and it completely failed. So I apologize for that. You're gonna have to show me how to do this as I'm talking about no cap. And mid. Wolves 2, Tottenham 1. Spurs go ahead with an early Brendan Johnson goal and a nice finish, and then Wolves score 2 in extra time to come back. Sariba comes on, receives a cross in, sticks it to his foot, absolutely barrows it, then beautifully chipped in ball. Another good finish. They steal 3 points from this Spurs team, who were absolutely, not want to say in control of the game, but I mean, they took the lead and they were trying to see it out. Talk to me about this last gas winner.
Yeah, listen, I called a draw here, but it was more to the point that I knew Tottenham, because of all these injuries, because of all these suspensions, once they got to the later stages of the game, when they started making substitutes, they weren't going to have the depth to hold on to a lead, and that's exactly what happened. Maybe it was a little late for Wolves. The fans probably didn't like scoring that late, giving them heart attacks, but we saw it coming. We see all these injuries, we see all these suspensions with Tottenham, and you can't call on that many people that are going to be at that level when you have that many people out. And hey, good for Wolves, man. Left it late, but strong, scrappy win. Exactly what I thought was going to happen, what they had to do.
100%. Like we said, Spurs not able to overcome these injuries and the red cards. But should they have been able to? This is what I want to talk about. I'm gonna go on a mini Spurs rant here. Eric Dyer and Ben Davies are quality center backs. Okay, I understand they haven't gone 90 minutes, but what is fitness for? What is so you practice so then you can just need games to be able to get through one game? I don't believe in that. And was the best player on the field not wearing a Spurs jersey? Was Son not on the field? He was. He was on the field. He played. He is the best player on the field. So I don't know. They're fourth. Okay, they sit fourth with a scorching hot Manchester United team who have won 4 of their last 5 league games. Okay, all right.
Oh, you're serious. Oh, you're serious.
On their heels, and Aston Villa is as well. Okay, yeah, I am so serious. I'm so sincere. Okay, I'm serious about mine. I'm so sincere. Jay-Z quote. Gary O'Neal, we got to get some love there. Wolves, they got him in a good position to finish mid-table, real mid. That's okay sometimes. A lot of unlucky decision and results have gone, but they play some good football. They sit in 12th. Stop laughing at my mid jokes.
Oh man, let's get to your one since we talked about him. Come on, give it to me.
Speaking of a scorching hot squad, Manchester United 1, Luton Town 0. Let's be real. Luton Town had plenty of chances. 4 shots on target, but they looked absolutely dangerous throughout this game from time to time. And I'm leading with that because it easily could have been 1-1 or 2-2. I'm just going to be absolutely honest. Chances back and forth between a corner was poorly played out. Mason Mount into Marcus Rashford, who crossed it in, deflected into the path of goal scorer extraordinaire Victor Lindelof, who rifled it home to give United the lead. United had plenty of chances. Rasmus Højlund looked good again. No Premier League goals yet. Garnacho looked really sharp at times. You know, I'm a big fan of my young guy. Rashford and Antony did not look great. Rashford did have the cross on the goal. Antony just looks awful right now. I got to give love to my center back pairing of Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Credit is credit was due. I mean, credit due where it is due. We're now 6th. Okay, we're sitting in a Europe spot. It's Europa, but we're sitting in a Europa Dopa Copa spot right now. Okay, that's an inside joke between me and Drew. That's what I call it. 7 points off of the leaders. Why can't I be in the mix? Yes, it's horrible. United is in flames. I'm 7 points off the leaders. Okay, why can't I be in the mix?
Are you legit asking?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because you can't have 70% possession and score 1 goal against Manchester City or Liverpool or Arsenal.
You won a bleeping championship doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So you can't win it. Yes, you can.
Me, I was the exception.
with the center
Big
back
guy.
pairing of Johnny Evans, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Rafael Varane, all together. Okay,
Oh,
the high-powered scoring offense of Rasmus Highland with 0 Premier League goals. Marcus Rashford, I think, has like 4. Anthony didn't score at all. With Garnacho just runs up and down the field past everyone, but then doesn't do anything with it. So no way we're not in the mix. We are in the mix. Absolutely.
yeah. Ooh.
All right. Our last game of the week, and I lied. I'm going to let you drive. Manchester City 4, Chelsea 4. Drew, drive the recap of the best game of the week, your best game of the season. Let's go.
Yeah, listen, if someone told me that this game would end in 8 goals, I wouldn't assume we'd score 4 of them.
You would have predicted 7-1, 6-2.
Yeah, maybe an 8-0. Honestly, but yeah, no, this was a heavyweight fight. This had everything. 4 goals for each team. Both teams were leading at one point. A late goal by City, and then a super late penalty by us. Chelsea completely disrupted City's tempo. Besides some poor defending at times, they look like they completely belonged in the field with them. Uh, Absolutely great match. Obviously, City scored first. Great goal. Well, I wouldn't say a great goal. Great pen taken by a shaky penalty call, but I agreed with it.
No,
Um,
it was shaky. Holland initiated the contact, basically pushed the guy. The guy pushed him back, and then he flew over and dove like everyone criticized the soccer players for doing.
yeah.
Go ahead.
But then, like we did against Tottenham, we came right back. We gave it to him, and then we scored a great goal. And then we come right back down and we score again. Looking great, but then obviously you got to handle with City. City scored a late equalizer late in the stoppage time of the first half. And basically the same thing happened in the second half, but reversed. They score one, we score another. They score one in the 80th third minute. We score one in the 90th minute on a penalty. That was a penalty. I not being thing here. It was. He moved over. He took a tackle. I think it was good. VAR took a look at it. But 5 points against 3 teams in the top 4 of the Premier League after finishing 12th last season is a massive improvement, in my opinion. Pochettino has these guys actually going with a plan. We're getting some guys back from injury that haven't even played this year, looking good. And I am fully in belief of this plan now. There are some shaky moments because it's a young team, but this plan I think is going great.
So I am about to talk glowingly about your team. Okay. But you
Are you
currently
okay?
sit where? 10th.
10th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are literally the definition of mid right now. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Yet I can't be in the mix when I'm in 6th, 7 points off the
I never
lead.
said I was in the mix.
But you're okay. So I'm just pointing. Like, come on. That you're a young team and it shows. Okay.
Mhm.
The Arsenal game in here, big time. Keeping leads are hard. Keeping them against teams that are good are even harder. So I do understand that. Your team is full of talent. I think you lack a veteran.
Mhm.
You sold Kovacic in the offseason.
Conte.
Conte to the Saudi league. You lack a veteran who can just kind of grab the game by the scruff of the neck, who can grab some of these young players, keep them in line, keep them composed. As much as people like to make fun of them, but a player like for United, like Harry Maguire or like Christian Eriksen, who I know now is injured, but you like what you said, Kovacic and Conte, you're veterans, a guy to just grab the game and go, all right, we're up, get it together, stop making the simple mistakes, because once again, you kept going up on City, but you kept letting them come back. Man, it's time to talk about him too. Erling Haaland, 13 goals in 12 games, and the kid is 23 years old. Enough said. This is what City does, though. They don't lose these games.
Yeah.
Okay. They always get a point out of these bigger games, usually 3, and that's why they're champions. But you absolutely did the rest of us a favor and stole 2 points from them and kept them in line here. Like we did say, you are 10th. You currently are mid-table. You're 16 points. You're 4 points away from Europe. Okay. And that's where I think that you might finish. Yes, I think you might finish better than West Ham and Brighton, who West Ham are shaky. I think they are destined to finish completely mid-table. I think you will finish better than Brighton, who are shaky, and I don't think there are reinforcements or good things coming to save them. The only problem is Newcastle. Newcastle are absolutely playing horrible in the league right now, but they're Saudi-owned. I would also sneak peek. Here's a little spoiler alert. Look out for some of the Saudi players to potentially come in on loan to Newcastle. I know they will then get
Investigated, yeah.
for financial fair play, but I don't think it'll matter. But yeah, I think the players in there, I think could help them. Spurs, I think Villa could drop. Okay, I think Chelsea has a real chance to finish in Europe, and if this continues, touch the top 4, because I think Spurs are going to fall. We're not sure what Villa has got to prove it. So I think it's worth paying attention to. I know it'll be quick this week, my guy, but as always, and you see his jersey, we're going to throw it over to our guy, Drew, for Americans Abroad.
Yes. Now, really, there wasn't many notable performances for Americans this week. We talked about the Anthony Robinson. He had an own goal, but he also had an assist. Nothing else really happened. But it doesn't matter because the U.S. play this week. They play twice. And guess when the first one is? It's tonight. 9 o'clock. They play Trinidad and Tobago in the Nations League tournament. This one is going to be great. You're going to see a lot of guys that we've talked about all in the pod.
The game is on TNT.
Yep, or Paramount Plus if you have that. A lot of guys we've talked about, we've mentioned on the pod. You're going to see them in action. It's going to be a great – if you can't catch tonight, maybe it's too late for you. Monday at 7 is the next game. Catch that one too. It's going to be awesome. The first time to watch them.
Split screen with Monday Night Football. You get your football and your footy, okay? Or as we call it, your football and your football in this house.
And the Monday night games are never good anyways.
Right. Come on. Give it some love so you know what we're talking about here on the Straub pod. So that was Americans Abroad. And ladies and gentlemen, for the most part, that was our show. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. A little bit of technical difficulties, a little bit on the connection side for a second or two. I had to go save my sugar at some point throughout the pod. Listen, you never know what you're going to get here. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Like I said, our first sponsored episode, Emo Night Kent, Thanksgiving Eve, November 22nd. Check it out with a live performance from I Fight Fail. Also, who will be there? Homeless Hookup Cleveland will be there taking donations if you can. Emo Night will be making a donation at the end of the night too. So go ahead and check that out. Please go to homelesshookup.cle.org to make a donation of your own. Also, 216 Sports Network shout outs. Once again, Jason Richardson, our newest member of the 216 Sports Network, NEO Sports Insider, covering the Charge and your Cavaliers. Check out Rico McGee of the Sports Minute and the Rulers Minute. You saw him with us on Sunday. We had a great little 3-man pod talking some NFL, some live updates as it was going on, and we talked a little bit of soccer as well with that. Check out the 216 Sports Network YouTube page. Like, follow, and subscribe. Please, we're up to over 500 subscribers. We love and appreciate every single one of you. Keep hitting those buttons and look out for those pods. Please and thank you. Facebook and Instagram as well. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a please and thank you because we love it. Thank you once again for tuning in wherever and however you are. Thanks for being in the chat with us this week. Mom was throwing questions at us on the fly. Mel was making predictions with us this week. Absolutely love it. Shout out to you guys. Thank you once again. This has been the Straub Rose Sports Show. I am Ken Straub. That is Andrew Straub. And always, please remember to Straub it yours this week.
Love yours.
We hit music.